and I've been asked by friends of mine to show them how I ride in traffic, specifically congested traffic here in South Miami. Miami's notorious for just being one of the most congested, I guess, cities in the U.S. when it comes to just a lot of traffic, and also something that is very bothersome. The drivers here are also notorious for never using turning signals, which, you know, pisses a lot of people off, but especially motorcycle riders. So I'm gonna start riding on US 1, which is probably the most congested street in South Miami, and I'm gonna give you the play-by-play. You know, my gear shifting, a few tips on how to be a better rider, specifically when you're riding in traffic, some rules of the road, etc. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe and like the video, okay? Here we go. Here in Miami, it's usually very congested. There's just so much traffic. There's really, you can't move around unless you're lane splitting. So here are the tips to be a safe rider. And it's gonna keep you from getting into silly accidents. The best thing that you can do when you're riding in traffic is to always be visible, or be as visible as you can be. And that not only means, you know, having your helmet with lights on, etc., or glow in the dark jacket and gloves and whatnot, but also being visible in making sure car drivers know where you are, and that's very important, especially on the blind side of the driver. If you are riding, or constantly find yourself riding on the blind side of the car next to you, either on the right or left lane, you're really asking for trouble, because they probably are not gonna see you, and even if you think you have loud pipes, they're probably listening to music just as loudly. So avoid the blind side. If that means slowing down to get a little bit more behind them so they can see you, or getting a little bit more ahead so they can see you as well, then so be it. Don't put yourself in a position where they're not going to see you and they're going to make a sudden shift, and they're going to move in on you, and you're going to have to swerve around and find a way to get out of it. Otherwise you're going to be in an accident. So that's probably one of the best things that you can do, is always be visible. Right now you see in front of me there are no cars at the blind side, so that's a good thing. I also, in a 3-lane road like this one, most likely I like to be on the center lane, because it allows me to make necessary changes if I needed to, in case of a problem. The second tip that I can give you for this is to anticipate what the other drivers are I knew that he was going to do that, and I was hoping for it to do it. He did it. So I'm not, and then look at that. He's doing it again. And that's Florida for you. Or that's Miami. So by allowing yourself to have enough room between your bike and the car in front of you, people like him are going to move in front of you without the turning signals, but you're going to have enough room that nothing is going to happen to you. Usually traffic, when it's this heavy, the average speed is about 35 miles an hour. So you see how I'm giving myself distance between the car in front of me and myself. And see this guy on the left lane, he uses proper turning signal, and I know that he's going to be doing just that, so I have enough room to allow him to do that and for him to just go ahead and do it. There are many cases where that's not the case. See, there's that blue car in front of us on the right side, and I've been on the right lane. Sometimes they just turn. They don't see you. So what you need to do is, another tip for that, and that's part of being visible, is to have your high beams on at all times. You have your high beams, and if you're on the far left or the far right of the lane, and when you reach an intersection, what you want to do is flicker your high beams like that. As many times as you need to, so the guy on the intersection acknowledges you and sees you and is able to, let you go or let you pass. Crazy. I'm at an age where I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I know what's good for me. And right now, doing wheelies on the street and doing 80 miles an hour here on US 1 is probably a bad idea, and it's going to cut my lifespan very short. So I don't do that. I don't care for that. I just like to ride, and like I said before, I just like to enjoy the ride. And this is how I do it. These are these tips on how to do it, especially here in traffic. You just gotta put your mind at ease. I know if you're gonna do it for the first time, you've never done it before, keep in mind those simple rules. Always be visible. Right now, blind spot right there, boom, I move up ahead a little bit, I'm on the blind spot with that guy. So, I know he's on the other, I try to be visible. Always move away from that position. So really, there's no trick to this. There's no magic. There's not a magic wand that's gonna make you all of a sudden a really good rider during traffic. What you have to do is, like I said, follow these tips and practice. Allow yourself to put yourself in this situation, maybe where there's less traffic than here right now, but allow yourself to put in this situation in order for you to practice. And practice, practice, practice. If you don't practice, everything is theoretical and it sounds great, but if you don't put any of the theories into practice, you're never going to know how those things work for you. Everything sounds like it makes sense until you put it into practice. You might have to modify a thing or two here and there that works for you, but remember, these main tips is what's going to keep you safe. Allow yourself to be visible. Anticipate the driver's moves. Obey traffic laws. And don't be a daredevil. Makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.